Good evening. What's up, guys? It is the SEC After Dark. We're back. Back and better than ever, as always. Very nice. Joining me is a blank wooden wall. Plus,
I'm in a new location.
plus Jake and Steve. What's up, guys? Our chat. Welcome in. How's it going?
What's up, guy?
Yeah, going pretty well. This Jeb took tonight off. Today is Jeb's birthday, and so he either is going to bed at 9 o'clock or going out to the club. I'm not sure which one, but it's his birthday. He can do whatever he wants to do.
Happy birthday, Jeb.
Happy birthday, Jeb. So let's see. Tonight's competition is to see if this wooden wall here has better hot takes than me. So we'll see. But, yeah, it's exciting times, man. It's exciting times. We got a great show. The SEC Hoops is in their final push of the regular season, getting ready for SEC tournament play. It's exciting for Georgia fans because that we're 2 games closer to the Tom Crean era ending. SEC baseball, not much of note, but some interesting scores. Ole Miss has a walk-off. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. They have a walk-off, but it's not the walk-off you think. They walked off for a for a run rule ending. But we haven't started conference play in baseball yet, so the conversations are still pretty light on that. And then, of course, we always get off the rails. You already know. So the chat will get off the rails as well too. But I want to make note, if you want to follow us on social media, just look right down below. And if you want to find Steve, you can also find him on I was about to say Positively Ole Miss, but you can find him on Locked On Ole Miss. You can find Jake on Tide Talk and Best of the West. And you can find the 3 of us right here. We finally live streamed Illegal Motion last night. That was our first one.
So saw that. Yeah, you saw it on this channel.
Exactly. Yeah. With Matthew Perkins, Josh Cook, and myself. That was we're on our 9th season of that.
Oh, wow.
9th season. So
you get nothing like Friends territory.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. Pretty soon we're going to be in syndication. We're coming to TBS near you. So first and foremost, betonline.ag. Football might be over for the moment. Not for long, but basketball's in full steam, getting ready for tournament time. And then, of course, the NBA as well. All the latest odds, totals, player performance props, all that good stuff. Where BetOnline is where you can find it. It's the number 1 spot actually for all your sports betting needs. It's super, super easy. So if you want to lose like me, head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code Bleav to get started. That's BLEAV, and I promise you probably won't lose like I have. I'm just on an unlucky streak here. I haven't been able to pick them lately. So if you take my advice, just do the opposite of what I pick. Like I picked the Bengals.
Costanza-ing.
Yes. Costanza-ing.
Yeah.
So BetOnline is the fastest, easy way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games like blackjack, which I'm on a cold streak there too. So hopefully at some point I can get hot again. And
you got any money left?
Probably not.
I would recommend not gambling if you're doing as bad as you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to borrow, $700,000. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
I had to hit up the Tinder swindler to figure out how I can pay all this stuff off.
Corey's going to come from us, next week from a shack that, in his backyard because
my backyard on the side of I-40.
I took Georgia in the over.
That never happens. All right, so BetOnline is where the game starts. But bet responsibly. I mean, I'm doing like $2 bets here, and nothing of significance. So, but basketball, man, basketball. What's up, Cody?
By the way, in our chat, we have Facebook bots to go with our YouTube Russian bots. So we've made kind of big time.
Did Jafar? Do we have a celebrity here? Jafar from Aladdin?
Jafar Perth.
If you can't make the game today, here's a link to the stream. Max preps, huh? Okay.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Okay. All right. Well, that does it for our show. We're going to go to Max preps now.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.
So I
Thanks for
heard that
joining
Georgia is considering joining the European Union. What's the deal? They're trying to dodge Alabama in the East before there's a chance it could happen?
Well, we consulted with our dear friend Lincoln Riley about that,
Oh.
and he said avoid the SEC at all costs. So yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, he did.
He's good at it.
Yeah, especially and when he does run across them in the playoff, he loses. Although Lincoln Riley either in
No,
2024,
he don't just lose, man. He gets his ass kicked.
like
Yeah.
2024 or 2025, Lincoln Riley and Lane Kiffin in the Coliseum.
Oh, wow.
Okay, all right. That's must see TV.
Yeah,
If Lincoln Riley's still there by then.
if Lane Kiffin's
20
still there.
2024 is Lane Kiffin going to UCLA?
No.
Oh.
That'd be interesting. Actually, now that you think about it,
I don't think
Lincoln
Lane
is scared
leaves.
now. No, he's not going to go anywhere. Not unless he gets like some ridiculous offer from like the Cowboys or somebody that you like can't say no to.
Lane's making like $8.5 million a year right now.
Yeah, I don't
There's
think
there's like 7 places that can afford him.
Yeah. Well, there are those breaks you get in the NFL that you don't get in college, so that's kind of tempting.
You know, I was talking about on my show, and I'll bring it up here, that the 10 on-field assistants, their roles and what they actually do, it's changed so much in like the last 1 or 2 years. And now you see things at Ole Miss where you have a staff of 10 on-field guys that are like between the ages of 28 and 33. It's pretty amazing.
Those are the only guys that can handle all that stuff. I mean, Matt
Yeah.
Luke had to retire because he was. I mean, he was.
He just burnt
to
out.
the nub. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
burnt out, man. It's a real thing.
Yeah, and I think that coaches like that you want somebody that could do a little bit of both. Or you would try and work your staff in a way where your recruiters are in certain positions. But now the X's and O's guys are analysts.
Yeah, they put everything up on a tee for the on the field guys, and they just execute it. Like there's very very few like old school. Hey, I'm not really going to recruit much, so you better hire the running backs coach as a 23-year-old that has his ear to the street, and yeah, gone are those days. Your whole staff is that.
Since we're talking, I was just going to say, Corey, since we're talking about that, I want to get your thoughts on y'all's new offensive line coach. You know, there's a lot of controversy, you know, on Twitter this week when he got hired.
There is, but I think he's good. I mean, he was there when I was there. He had just come in my last year there. He's really good. I like him. I don't think he gets hired by who he gets hired by. Frank Beamer and Mac Brown and Mark Richt took him for a second time for a second tour of duty in Miami. So I don't think he gets those type of jobs if he's bad. I don't think he was a good fit. I just think the program was in a weird place when he was there. I think it went beyond him. And I don't think he necessarily connected with those guys when he came in and then just kind of started off on the wrong foot. I think if he can get off on the right foot this time around, I think he'll be better. But as an O-line coach, he's great. I mean, he's a good people person. I've seen him recruit firsthand. He's good. I don't know. He just needs to get off to a better start. And I think working for Kirby will help that a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So what was it? I don't know. I like that Mateos guy. I would have been really happy with him. There was a rumor that we might get Joe Rudolph too as an O-line coach who got he got reassigned from Wisconsin to Virginia Tech. So, yeah,
Lord.
reassigned. What's crazy is him and Chris are buddies. That's the crazy part. But anyway, so yeah, no, I like that hire.
It's going to be interesting because Searles is not a young guy.
Right.
He's not.
And what we just talked about. So you either have a staff that is going to pick up his weight a little bit, or he's going to end up Matt Luking himself. I don't know.
Yeah.
He'll probably end up Matt Luking himself because he's a high energy guy. He's got more in the tank than you think.
Yeah, but it's let's see. If Mark Richt hired him, he's probably in his 50s.
Yeah, he was fairly young when he hired him the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
This was like 07. I don't know. I mean, most assistants don't last terribly long under Kirby anyway.
Yeah. It's a Saban thing. Most assistants don't last under Lane.
Right.
No. Yeah, I mean it's a grind, man.
Yeah.
And it's grind, and a lot of Kirby's assistants, much like Saban's assistants, get promotions, just for being in the vicinity of the Lord, of the Great One, Nick Saban. So, yeah, I mean it happens. You know, we'll have him for a few years, and then we'll hire the next guy. Kirby has a lot of people don't think he has, but you know, because of the James Coley offensive coordinator experience, I think that soured a lot of people on Kirby's hiring practices. But I think Kirby's done a good job of hiring good people that have done a tremendous job for him. For the most part, I mean, yeah, you're a liar if you think any coach is 100% on their hires.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kirby learned from Saban just like Lane did when it comes to hiring coaches. So you're going to see those three, no matter who they hire, whoever they bring in, chances are that it's going to be good. Because right now, what Lane is selling is, hey, you're a young coach and you're doing a good job and you're making a name for yourself. Come to Ole Miss for a year or two, and you'll leave here and you'll make money.
Yeah.
You'll absolutely jump your pay scale just after being here. It's not any situation where we want you to stay here. We need you to stay here. We're trying to build continuity or anything like that. No, it's like, hey, we can help you improve your career if you come and stop here for about a year and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same with Kirby, same with Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Saban, you know, I'm starting to believe, and I hope to God I'm wrong unless something changes, but I think Saban is grooming Pete Golden to be the next head coach once he retires.
Well,
I mean, he ain't left. He's been there 4 years.
Yeah, you know my theory. You don't want to be the next Alabama coach, the one that follows Saban.
Yeah.
You want to be the one that follows Saban.
That's why he's grooming Pete Golding.
Yeah, that's
sacrificial lamb. No,
is Pete Golden the Ray Perkins? That's the question.
Probably. I mean, Jake, honest to God, your opinion on Pete Golding.
Mm-hmm. What
is it?
I wasn't really.
I know he frustrates you at times.
Yeah, but I would say last year in the LSU game, I mean, his defense, won the game for us because our offense was stalling out and it was just absolute garbage. And the defense at times has looked really, really great. And then at times it's just been awful. I mean, we can't stop nobody. The secondary, which is, Saban's baby, but they can't stop, sometimes they can't stop anybody, from, and it's just, I don't know. I'm not really sold on Pete. He grew on me a little bit this past year. We'll see what he does this year. I mean,
I'll tell you this, Jake.
It's going to be stout, and it's supposed to be.
I'll tell you this, Jake. Mm-hmm. From his first game to now is a marked improvement. I mean, it is.
I agree.
Night and freaking day. Like I was saying midway through last season, if it wasn't for that explosive offense that y'all had, probably one of the best offenses ever assembled in college football, that Pete Golding would have been sent out with his head on a stake.
Right.
And he should be, because he looked like he didn't know what he was doing. He was overwhelmed all the time. His eyes were this big all the time. I think this year he finally kind of calmed down, and surprisingly, Nick Saban has had some patience with him, which you don't always see that with Nick Saban.
You don't.
Like, he's not afraid to bail on a bad coordinator, so it leads you to believe that he has some talent somewhere.
Yeah.
And Saban sees something in Pete Golding that I think he saw in Jeremy Pruitt and Kirby Smart, who were his two favorite defensive coordinators.
Yeah. And he has survived the DUI charge, because I mean that's been a month now, and you hadn't really heard anything about it
Right.
since. So
And wasn't Pete Golden brought in as like the junior co-defensive coordinator with like Tosh Lapui?
right,
Yeah.
I think Pete Golden gets a lot of rope because he essentially saved that defense because Tosh was a
Yeah.
mistake. Nick Saban doesn't make mistakes often, but he made a mistake there. With
right.
Tosh
Yes,
Lapui
yes, he
on
did.
D. And
Yeah.
Pete Golden kind of bailed them out.
I mean, there was rumors while Tosh was there that Pete was calling the plays. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard a lot of people say that was what was happening behind the scenes, but no.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think eventually he's going to be good. I mean, whether or not he's going to be the next guy at I was going to say Ole Miss, whether he's going to be the next guy at Alabama, it remains to be seen. But it'll be interesting in the next couple of years if Saban kind of nudges him off to, like a Lane Kiffin type path where he sends him to like the Sun Belt or, one of these G5 programs and says, okay, I got 2 more years left, go learn, and then you're coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I think Louisiana Lafayette interviewed him or wanted to interview him, and I think he turned him down. So, I mean, there's got to be something in the future at Alabama that Saban has promised him for him to stay. That's just my opinion.
Either that or he's reading the tea leaves. This could be
Right.
something to where he is trying to play the game. But I hate to break it to everybody when it comes to Alabama. As soon as Saban steps down, the boosters are going to come right back in. They're going to take over what power they've lost, and they're going to try to hire the next guy.
And it's going to be
So,
a disaster.
Is
like
it going
you
to
said.
turn into? Is it going to turn into Auburn?
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
No, I don't think it's going to be that bad because Auburn's like on the 3rd time of doing this at this point. That's an insanely self-destructive university. It's
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
I have no idea, and that's probably the reason they don't have in their history like back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're
Yeah.
probably right. So yeah, a lot of problems for Bama was young receivers didn't. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of guys didn't. I just don't think. I mean, it shows in game, and I know Nick Saban said it. I'm not trying to parrot Nick Saban, but he was exactly right. They didn't prepare very well with their 2s and 3s.
No,
They
we
They weren't
didn't.
ready for injuries whatsoever on either side of the ball.
And that's
Georgia was.
disappointing. Yeah, that's disappointing because you hate to see injuries in any sport, but you've got to know that they're going to pop up, and that 2nd and 3rd tier, has got to be ready to step up and play when they get called. And our young receivers were not ready at all.
Yeah, do you
And
do
it
you
cost
think Jamison Williams is the reason for that? Their reliance and just going over and over and giving those reps to it, and you end up
Yeah.
having occasionally a Slade Bolden, maybe a John Mechie, but after that, I mean, you have
that was
talented
the-
guys, yeah.
You always say blessing and a curse. That was the curse part of
Yeah.
it.
That's right.
The over reliance of Jamison Williams to bail you out of situations that they that were problems in some games down the stretch where you almost lose an LSU game, but Jamison Williams makes a big play, bails you out, but nobody down the line made anything happen. You had one instance where Ja'Cory Brooks in the Auburn game bail you out,
Right,
but
that's it.
I mean, essentially it was John Mechie. So outside of those 2 receivers, they had nobody else. So
And by the way, Jermaine Burton is not Jamison Williams.
not even
That is
close.
That's not a
No.
comp. He's closer to John Mechie.
I love Jermaine Burton, but he is not going to have the same impact. He's just not. I mean,
He's a good player, and
Jermaine's
he's going to
sake-
see the field at Alabama, and that's good. When you say that, that's a big deal. But Jamison Williams was that Mike Wallace Ole Miss track guy that it is like just go deep. They can't run with you. You're going to eventually
was
get behind
Alabama's.
them.
He was Alabama's George Pickens, and what it really came down to is Georgia had these problems earlier in the year, and they developed it, and it came to fruition. I mean, Brock Bowers made plays, A.D. Mitchell made plays, both freshmen. Keely Ringo got a baptism by fire. He had his first action early in the season. against Clemson. He drew some tough matchups there. He developed all season long and really became a player for us. And some younger guys in the secondary had to adapt because Tyke Smith goes down as a transfer. De'Aaron Kendrick was beat up some of the year. You had some young linebackers get some opportunity, especially on the edges when Adam Anderson got arrested and is doing his thing in prison. Trying to, I don't even want to get in that situation, but you had some guys, up front on the offensive line. You had some guys, some inexperienced guys, get some reps. That's why they brought in Broderick Jones at right tackle and moved Sawyer to right guard when they needed help at guard. Sawyer was able to go down and not lose a beat at left tackle because we repped all that stuff. We knew where we were going to be. We projected that. We thought ahead. For the first time ever, I think Kirby out-coached Nick Saban in that scenario where getting guys ready.
Hey, John, I don't see him lasting 5 years. I think he would be 75 at that point. And
I think he will.
Once you get at that point, you're getting dangerously into that Father Time is undefeated Bobby Bowden realm. And I just don't know if Nick Saban's going to want to coach a team when he can't do it the way he wants to do it.
Well, I think he'll get to that fifth year and say this is it, like Coach K, where this is kind of like he's going to take a victory lap. He's going to go 4 more years and he's going to take a victory lap year, like Coach K's doing at Duke.
And unless he wins the championship next year and he passes Bear Bryant, he may retire after that. I don't know that for a fact, but that might be a reason why he's hanging on.
Just remember, Father Time is undefeated. There's no way to get around that. And eventually, he's going to need to take a nap. He's going to do like Bobby Bowden did, and where he had to go in and take a 2-hour nap every day just because the grind got to him. And I just don't think Nick Saban is going to be okay with that.
Hey, I take a 2-hour nap on Saturday. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
That's called watching Auburn football. No.
Oh.
That is great.
I'll be here all night. I'll be here all night.
The barn is on fire.
Yeah.
Are we off the rails yet? Is that where we're at?
No, well, you're the one that's going to the European Union.
Right.
The SEC.
Yeah. Our
Hear
basketball
about Alabama coming to the East, and you're like, no. Except in basketball. Y'all might have been okay playing Alabama in basketball.
No, we wouldn't have. We weren't even okay playing Ole Miss and Vandy in South Carolina.
Y'all beat Vandy. I mean, y'all beat Alabama. I have no idea how that happened.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Alabama could have scored 1,000,000 points on Ole Miss.
We had a lead on Tennessee last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quickly evaporated that, but we had a lead on them.
How many teams do you think the SEC is going to get in men's basketball?
8. 7, 8.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
Well, that leads to the question: who's the 8th team? Is it A&M? Is it Mississippi State? Is it? I think LSU's in as a higher number because of their net, but
I think it's A&M.
So Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Arkansas.
I think Arkansas comes in at a higher seed. This is not in any sort of order, but
yeah,
you have Arkansas, and then you have maybe A&M and Mississippi State.
Yeah, that would be 7, 8 right there.
Yeah,
I know who it's not.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Unless one of y'all win the SEC tournament.
If you think either one of those teams can win 5 games in 5 days against those teams,
come on, man. Say that with a straight face.
Yeah.
It ain't Atlanta. There's no tornado. We're not shutting down and playing at Georgia Tech again in front of no fans. How ironic was it that we won the tournament on Georgia Tech's court?
That was ironic.
Nerds.
I love
Nerds.
6 or 7 seed, yeah. To be honest with you, college basketball, I don't. When you're looking at 1 through 7 seeds, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's open to where there's a group of 10 teams that can win the national title, and there's a group of 30 teams that have a chance to make a run. And then
there's always that one Cinderella story.
Yeah, and then there's one team that's up
What'd
in
you
that
call
top
me?
60. Oh, and what's the deal with Georgia's gray uniforms? There's no reason y'all should have uniforms that look that bad.
Right.
With the G on it, those are
Yeah,
terrible.
it's like, what is going on?
There's a lot of teams that do that. Just the logo right there. I hate that on basketball uniforms. Why? I hate them. I hate them. I mean,
There's
if you wrote Georgia on them instead of the G, they would look a lot better. I like the gray color because it's kind of like a play on the silver bridges. But
whenever y'all do the throwbacks, like the Dominique Wilkins throwbacks,
those are clean.
Yeah, those look really good. It's just whenever they try to do new modern things, they just mess it up. Y'all have a color scheme that's fantastic. No,
Yes, we do, and we screwed it up on that one. And
it's like Ole Miss needs to have the 2001 throwbacks.
Yeah.
That should be their primary uniforms. That's the best look they have.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But it's just the Nike schools, like Arkansas has the same thing with the hog on the chest, and it's like that looks terrible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have a great uniform. At least
Michigan
Tennessee has gone back to their own look.
Yes,
as they should.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no. Hey, what if Arkansas went back to like the '95 look? You know how like in '95 where everyone had that like weird design that like striped down one leg and it went across the waist and like up on the other side.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Kentucky was really big on that one. They
everybody
had those.
was.
Yeah,
that was the uniform template.
That was the year after their denim uniforms at Kentucky.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody did that look. Hell, my middle school team had that look.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Tony Delk. I just wanted to say that. Jamal Mashburn. Okay.
Yeah. All right, good.
That's my era of basketball.
I think UNC should go back to their late '90s look with the Argyle strip and just kind of their older look.
I like that. It's just such a good look.
Mm-hmm.
Duke, just a simple, plain look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Duke messed up. When did Duke go to the black jerseys?
A long time ago.
Well, I know that.
I don't know when.
Late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, it was mid-2000s probably.
Yeah.
When they went black.
Whenever they did that, they messed up just a perfect look because their blue jerseys with the Duke on it and their white jerseys, it just worked. I know everybody wants things to look different and feel different, but man, it just didn't work.
They didn't need it.
Yeah.
It just felt forced because you have a team that has such tradition like Duke does.
Right.
You don't need that. Like this reason why you don't ever see Alabama in a throwback uniform or their throwback is they've had the same uniform their entire existence. Like there's a reason why they don't change. They don't go.
They had houndstooth on the collar once, and they almost rioted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Georgia went to one of the worst decisions Georgia ever made was going to those Power Ranger uniforms. You remember those, Steve, against Boise State?
Oh,
we look like Power Rangers.
Was that the silver helmet?
Silver helmet with like the weird red in the face mask.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Look it up. They're awful.
Who's that?
Georgia.
Oh yeah.
They went with Power Ranger look, and then they had the Grambling State uniforms. Hey, we talked about Grambling last night on Illegal Motion. If you guys watched it, what do you think about that whole situation?
Oh, those were terrible.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy. Why would you hire Art Briles to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, okay, listen.
What made you think you could get away with that?
Right.
You can't, and I think the rape charges, not the rape stuff and all the baggage he has, notwithstanding, I still think it would have been a bad hire because he's been out of football for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just on a pure football standpoint, it's a terrible hire. But
he didn't make it a month, did he?
Oh, we made it. Yeah, almost a month.
Yeah,
almost a month. But I mean, I think Hugh Jackson should be fired for that. I mean, you look at that lack of judgment. Oh, God. Yeah, those are awful. Yeah, those are gross.
My eyes.
I was at that game. We got our ass handed to us.
Who y'all playing there?
That's Boise.
Boise. Oh, yeah.
That was back when Boise was running package tagged plays and nobody could figure that out because that was their whole secret. Yeah, it was all 2 stars everywhere, but the fact that they were so ahead of the curve on what they were doing.
Yeah, Kellen Moore was just throwing darts, man. But no, I mean, like, what makes you think you're gonna, just to hire Hugh Jackson? Even like, you couldn't find a more qualified guy than Hugh Jackson, who is like he's coached in like almost 100 NFL games, and he still has single-digit wins.
Yeah, it's not good.
Like, at what point did you look at that and say, Hugh Jackson, that's our guy? And then he goes and hires Art Briles. Like, come on, dude.
Does Hugh have any kind of connection to Grambling?
None.
Okay.
No, ever since the hiring of Dion and Eddie George and all that, they've been able to get names. That's a landing spot for names.
But they landed on Hugh Jackson.
Right. I mean, there's other.
But it's still a name. You have a former NFL coach. But he was the coach of the Cleveland Browns.
That's such a stretch. I mean, I know what you're saying, but
yeah.
I understand.
They tried to pump up Doug Williams the same way.
Yeah.
He wasn't Eddie Robinson, but he played in the NFL and played under Eddie Robinson, maybe.
Doug Williams is not a coach. I mean, he's a good personnel guy. He's not a coach. Neither is Hugh Jackson. Like, they would have been better off going and getting Terrell Owens or Ocho or Jerry Rice or just like digging up Hines Ward or somebody, Like, any one of those guys would have been a way better hire.
I halfway expect Jerry Rice to be named as the new coach of Mississippi Valley State.
I would love that, actually.
Yeah.
They're going to use Art's experiences for a learning tool of what not to do with sexual assault charges. Yeah, don't ignore it.
Yeah.
That's a start, right? Yeah, it was cowardly. It was awful. I mean, like, Grambling, like, they're such a storied program.
Yes, they are.
They got rich tradition. Why are they doing this? Why did what happened? For
exactly this, honestly. SEC After Dark is talking about Grambling State. That's why they hired our Briles.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about him as being making one of the worst decisions of all time. Like,
and now
I wouldn't go there in a heartbeat.
Now it doesn't matter if they're talking about you poorly. It used to be something that's like, oh, these guys are a joke because they made this decision. No, if you're being talked about at all, it's one of those all publicity is good publicity things.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, nobody's going to care. Yeah. In 2 weeks, nobody's going to care who the offensive coordinator is at Grambling.
It's not going to matter. They're going to get their ass handed to them every week. So good luck with that. Congratulations, Grambling. We're talking about you in March, on March 2nd. Yeah. Congratulations. Let's look at the results in September.
They're an FCS program. Yeah. That needs to be remembered. When we're talking about Jackson State signing a number 1 recruit, and you have Tennessee State, Eddie George, making all these plays, Grambling sees that and wants to get in that news cycle. And because of that, they thought they might be able to sign Art Briles and be able to withstand the onslaught that was going to come. Now, they miscalculated that like crazy, but they tried, and that just showed their eagerness to get into this news cycle.
Congratulations, they tried. Yeah, you hired probably one of the worst humans possible. I think they're a banana peel away from hiring Vladimir Putin.
I mean, that's almost like hiring Jerry Sandusky. I mean, just awful.
One of the worst humans in the world won a national championship just 3 or 4 years ago at LSU.
That's true.
It does. This is not a situation to where being an actual good person matters. in coaching football. Whenever people just put that thing as like, oh, okay, he's our guy. It's just completely team sports and just sticking up for your guy.
The world didn't know about Les Miles until after the fact. Are you talking about Ed Orgeron?
I'm talking about Ed Orgeron.
Yeah. Eddie O.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. They. I mean, do you think anybody's touching Ed Orgeron right now?
No.
Well, not unless he's paying him, right?
Okay, then it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, that would have been a relevant point when Art Briles was getting hired to Baylor. Like, Baylor didn't know they were hiring a horrible human being. And then he became one.
That's what I'm talking about a little bit. The double standard is like, you're a football coach. You do not have to be a decent human being. Don't act like a football coach needs to be a decent human being. But whenever you lie and start creating this mythos of the decent human being and the football coach, you have a problem. Yeah. Because then you open yourself up to hypocrisy and all other outside things. And I'm not defending Art Briles at all. I think Grambling thinking they could hire him was one of the stupidest decisions I can remember in college football. But let's not act like head football coaches are good people.
Well, I mean, there's a difference in horrible people and then there's Art Briles. You know, I mean,
I think Art Briles is a situation to where he covered
he's
stuff
in a class
up
of his own.
Yeah, he did stuff that happens pretty much everywhere, and he just happened to run across a bunch of he recruited some bad guys. And once that happened, his turning the other way that happens in a lot of places. Do not think this is something that's isolated to Baylor. But him doing that with really bad people and not really vetting to recruit, you're doing everything for on-field performance, that opened up a ton of problems for him. And by the time he started paying attention, it was way too late. I don't know if he's a total bad guy that was agreeing with everything that was happening. I think he just turned a blind eye and everything was based on the field until it was way too late. He recruited bad people. You have to vet who you're recruiting. You have to make sure your locker room can withstand the type of people that you're bringing in, because once those numbers hit a critical mass, you are screwed. There's no way you can survive that.
So Kansas hiring Les Miles?
Yeah, that was. I mean, I think they just hired him because of the name.
Yeah, Les Miles isn't close to Baylor, I don't think.
No, he's not. But he's not a good. Yeah. You know, he did some stuff. But I mean, these guys getting fired for cause. I mean, it's going to be
Jeremy Pruitt tract.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a while. I mean, yeah, they can come in as assistants, like low assistants, and work their way back up the chain. I'm not saying like lock them away forever, but you hire Art Briles in a high-profile role like that. I mean, I think from a football standpoint, he's almost 70 years old.
Yeah.
And he's been out of the game for 7 years. I mean, I think
been coaching high school.
That's scary. Okay. Him on a high school campus.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Nobody cares about that because that's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, "Good Lord!" Like I don't know, man. This guy, like, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I didn't like the Hugh Jackson hire. I don't think Hugh Jackson's a good head coach. I don't think Hugh Jackson's a horrible person. I just think he's not a good head coach because he can't handle the seat. And that's why I think Grambling's going to get killed.
I want to see how he recruits. I want to see how he recruits.
I think he'd be a good coordinator. He knows football. I mean, Hugh Jackson's a good coach. He's just not a good head coach. That's okay.
We've seen those
he doesn't have good judgment, so you can't give him hiring power. He doesn't have good judgment.
It'll be interesting. Saying. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I did not know this was going to be SWAC After Dark tonight. I did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's interesting. Like
my whole thing is, what made Grambling think it would be okay to hire Art Briles? That is the question that needs to be asked, and that is everything. What made them think this was okay? And nobody is touching that.
No.
And I didn't think it was okay. maybe they'll salvage themselves by letting him, maybe this whole situation will rectify itself. Maybe Hugh will surround himself, but I revoke his hiring privileges if I'm the administration. I'm saying, Hugh, it's been real, man. We're gonna get Hines Ward. We're gonna make a name. You got to go after somebody better or with more upside than Hugh Jackson as your head coach. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
that's all.
You have Eddie George and Deion Sanders. Yeah, why not go to Grambling and hire T.O.? You know what? Get Chad Ochocinco. Let's do this.
Oh man.
Ooh, I'd love that.
I would absolutely love that.
McDonald's would be their number one meal.
Mm-hmm.
I love me some Ocho, but I mean, let's look at Deion Sanders. You knew he was going to be a good coach just by the way he carried himself. Yeah, he's really cocky, but you strip that down. He's a motivator. He's smart. He knows the game. Great recruiter. Like, you knew that was going to work. Eddie George, high intelligence, really intelligent guy, well read, well versed, and he's had his hand in a bunch of different worlds: theater, movies, broadcasting, and of course, NFL Hall of Fame. Is he a Hall of Famer yet?
Music City Miracling, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, you knew, okay, maybe he doesn't have a whole lot of coaching experience or any at all, but you knew that was going to work because he's a smart guy. He has great contacts. He's going to hire people around him. And he's at TSU where you have time. Like, you can be patient. And Grambling's not one of those places where you can go in and, hey, you don't really have that luxury. So you either got to make a really big splash that's going to attract a lot of good recruits, or you got to get a really, really good coach that's going to come in there and win a whole bunch of games.
All right. What Power 5 program is going to hire Deion after this season? Because once he got that recruit, it was over. It was done.
FSU. Yeah. If Mike Norvell don't
oh, my goodness. Can you think how awesome would that be with the FSU people that burned his jerseys?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. That would be hilarious.
I want that to happen.
I do too.
I thought it was going to be TCU this year. He was about to go to TCU.
Yeah, he went and interviewed, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. He was about to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of who I'm projecting is going to be firing there. I'm trying to think of all the hot seat people.
Yeah,
Auburn. Yeah, he'll the closest he's getting to Auburn is flying over it.
Yeah.
Michigan? No,
I don't think he'd go to Michigan, but he's not in a position that he needs it financially, so money's not going to be an issue.
What about
money's
North
not
Carolina?
Gonna be a factor. Ooh.
Maybe.
Ooh, I mean they're Jordan Brand. They're okay. I can see that.
My leader in the clubhouse would be like North Carolina or Georgia Tech.
No, I don't think you go to Tech.
Wait, FSU just re-signed Matt Norvell to a 5-year extension this offseason?
We know that means absolutely nothing.
But that's a terrible move.
Yeah, I hate to break it to everybody, but Florida State is a quarterback from being pretty good.
They are. I just hope.
Yeah.
I don't think Norvell's going to be fine. If you really want to know my true opinion on Norvell, I think he's going to be good there. I just want to see the Deion to FSU thing with all the jersey burning stuff, but I think Norvell is going to be good.
John, let him come for Kiffin. They've already tried once. Yeah, let them come.
You think Kiffin's going to join that dumpster fire?
No. I mean, you think about the spotlight there. I mean, right now, he still has to play Alabama once a year, but if he goes to Auburn and he does not beat Alabama every single year like they expect down there at Auburn to do, he'll be gone in 3 years.
They ran Gus Malzahn off for beating him 3 times, which is the highest number of all coaches.
Yeah.
The only school in the state of Alabama that Lane Kiffin's going to is South Alabama. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to Roll Tide. He would take over for Saban, but I don't think he's leaving Ole Miss for any other job.
After Pete Golden.
After Pete Golden, yes. Okay, they're going to make a run at him. I don't even think they're going to make a run at him.
No, I don't think.
I don't think they like him. Those boosters don't like him. Those boosters are weird.
They are.
They're going to hire Cam Newton. They're going to go for a splash now.
Oh my God!
As they say, it's under investigation.
It's an ongoing investigation. The Auburn boosters said they need more drip in the program, so they're going to hire Cam Newton.
My goodness, I didn't think there was any way they could top Jetgate. I thought Bobby Petrino sitting on a tarmac ready to fly to Auburn was the worst that they could do. And then this offseason, I see how they treated their sitting head coach that took them to a bowl game, and they had no business doing that with TJ Finley as the quarterback.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. But he's on his 5th coordinator now. I hope. Wish you the best.
Yeah, if I'm Harsin, I tell them, oh yeah, I'll leave for sure. Tell me, whatever. You're going to pay the whole buyout, but I'll go. If you want to have somebody else do it, but you are going to pay me. I'm not going to take less money not to be here because you guys are crazy. Pay the full thing.
Yeah.
But who they hire after that? Because I don't think anybody wants to deal with that dumpster fire.
No.
Maybe they could get Bobby Petrino from Missouri State or wherever he is now.
My!
When Bill Clark said, "No, I'm good at UAB."
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty telling.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's pretty sad when UAB is a better place than.
It's a more stable place.
Right.
Rich Rod's at Jacksonville State.
Yeah, there you go.
Just saying.
Hey, who was the Bo Pinelli? There's another one. Is he still coaching?
Pelini.
Yeah, Pelini, yeah.
I don't know.
He was at Youngstown State. I don't know
that's his brother. That's Carl Pelini.
Yeah, okay.
No, Bo was there. He quit Youngstown as a head coach to go be a defensive coordinator at LSU under Ed Orgeron. And I think after all this went down, he's being paid not to coach, essentially.
Okay, but there you go. Go out to him.
They can go back to the West Coast and get Jimmy Lake because that experiment went really well.
Yeah, go for him.
Jake, do you know that story? Do you know Jimmy Lake, who that is?
Yeah, it was Washington's coach that got fired.
There you go. You get Nick Rolovich. He's available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see how many different faces I can make Steve make.
I was sitting there thinking, it's like, well, Auburn wouldn't fire him for not getting vaccinated.
They could steal Sling Blade away from Florida.
I'm surprised Auburn didn't use that as an excuse to get their way.
Right.
I'm genuinely surprised about that, and kind of credit to them for not going there.
Yeah. True.
Because I thought, the more I think about it, the more I was going to weaponize the fact that he wasn't vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
But Auburn didn't play that game, so good for them.
Yeah. Yep. But Auburn missed out on the wonderful opportunity for them to announce weekly their nutrition athletes. Hey, you drank water and ate your veggies and ate your gummy vitamins. Congratulations, you are nutrition student athletes of the week. Mm-hmm. Or hire a game changer coordinator.
Ooh, Billy Napier has it going on. Actually, I don't know if what Billy Napier is doing is smart or dumb.
It's dumb. I think
because he hires he's
jonesing it.
He's doing that, but he still has the weapon in his bag to just go ahead and name that guy special teams coordinator.
Yeah, you don't need
you can up his title without anything, because if he just hired him as a special teams coordinator, that bullet's gone. Now, if somebody goes after that guy, they say, okay, we'll make you the special teams coordinator and bump your salary.
I think that's what game changer coordinator is, just a cheesy title.
Yeah, it's a cheesy title, but it's not a special teams coordinator title. You can have that official title for your resume. Although, if you wrote game changer coordinator on your resume, I don't know if you would get the job.
it's a Butch Jones stunt, like the guy who held the trash can up, or the brick by brick, or the walk. I mean, he's like a Pez dispenser for like cheesy mottos. Like it's unnecessary at places like Tennessee and Florida. Like, you don't need to do that. Like every coach is allowed one slogan per year.
Yeah.
But like Butch Jones was like farting them out as he walked down the hallway. Like he crop dusted slogans out of his, you know what?
Champions of life.
I mean, like it's like way overboard cheesy. I mean, he hired some good people, but it's like it's going to turn into a Butch Jones situation where it's going to be miserable to work there because it's just a cheese fest. Yes, Jake?
I want to answer John's question that he asked us. I don't think Auburn is going to be a serious threat for a long time because you have Lane Kiffin, who's building a monster at Ole Miss. You still have Alabama, who's recruiting at a high level, and we're always going to be up there because
and you can mock Brian Kelly all you want to, but LSU's going to be a force.
Exactly, and you have Sam Pittman, who is coming up.
Yeah,
so, Brian Kelly has won it at everywhere he's been. He's going to win at LSU.
Yeah, and we have talked about several times on the show that Auburn could be the 7th team in the, in the West this year. That's
I don't think there's a could be. I think they are.
Yeah.
Oh, and also A&M paid $30 million for their signing class. Let's not forget about that.
And Jimbo's at A&M. So
yeah.
Auburn might not see it until 2030 in the 2030s.
We say that they're going to win the West next year.
I doubt that.
Not with Zach Calzada at quarterback.
But
no. TJ Finley, Robbie Ashford. Ooh.
And had to go to Alabama? No, it ain't happening.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening at all. They hemorrhaged players, stuff like that. So
I'm going to tell you that the game between Alabama and Ole Miss may be the game this year to decide the West.
That's why they moved it to where they did.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss and Alabama, for the first time in recent memory that I'm sitting here looking at, Ole Miss and Alabama is the third from the last game. Ole Miss plays them after Bama plays LSU.
Yeah. And Alabama don't have an off week after that either. They go straight from LSU into Ole Miss. Am I correct on that?
That sounds about right because they have an off week before that because they take that week off. That's the reason Ole Miss can't play LSU on freaking Halloween because of that damn bye week.
I know. Yeah.
Sorry, John. That upsets me. Ole Miss and LSU should be played on Halloween every year, and the fact that it's not is a travesty.
I agree 100%. There's some things you don't change, and that's one of them.
Well, that's okay. More attention on Georgia, Florida on Halloween, so I'm good with it. The world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
That'd be a fun doubleheader weekend for CBS or ESPN or whoever's doing it. Do the cocktail party and Ole Miss and LSU at night.
Oh yeah, that would be.
Chance of rain? Never. Yes, but I like Brian. I like Billy Napier. I think he's good, but all that stuff that you did at ULL to get, like, some places takes that, like to get a little jazz in your program. It works. It worked for them. I don't think it's going to work at Florida. That's like doing single A ball stuff in big leagues.
And remember, at Florida, the cheese factor already existed there. Dan Mullen's cheesy as hell.
Right.
Yes,
so you had to ratchet that up just to increase and land the
I didn't
cheese.
think you could. I didn't think you could, but he's Mayor McCheese, man. It's ridiculous.
I don't think Florida is going to be.
He's devaluing himself as a head coach by doing all that.
I don't think Florida is going to be the team that's going to challenge Georgia. I don't think it'll be next year, but the year after, Tennessee. Tennessee is the one that's up and coming, I believe, in the West.
Tennessee Tennessee is lying in wait. They're like one. I think they're one more year away from really being a contender. John, none of us here think Kelly is a joke. We like to have a little fun at his expense because he's a terrible dancer. That has no bearing whatsoever on his coaching ability. He wins everywhere.
Nut to butt.
And he said family.
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 Yeah, using his Fletch Lives handbook.
Yeah.
He tried to dabble in the phony, cheesy, fake it till you make it, let me assimilate to LSU culture. And then I think he just started being himself again. And
he comes from Boston, a Catholic city, into Louisiana, a Catholic city.
Be that. just be that, and nobody will fault you for being you. That's all you got to do is just be you. It's so easy. Just be you.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to walk into LSU. Let's say I get the job at Ole Miss, I'm not going to walk in sounding like Foghorn Leghorn because I think that's Ole Mississippi.
I do declare.
I do declare.
I declare this recruiting class is the greatest thing since that Archie Manning. Like I'm not going to come in some fake ass accent.
Right.
I think he was so hard. That shows you, actually, in my opinion, how other coaches view what SEC football is. Mm-hmm. He thought when he left Notre Dame, he had to put on airs to fit in at LSU, so he could make an impact. I think that was honestly, it just shows how the gap between other schools and the SEC. Honestly,
I get that. I get that. Yes, no, the hires he's made have been incredible. There's no doubt about that. Cortez Hankton and Frank Wilson have been absolutely outstanding.
Frank Wilson, we called him the Godfather of New Orleans when he was at Ole Miss. I think had an office right across the hall from him.
Speaking of FCS football, going back to FCS After Dark, McNeese State turned around and made a really good hire to replace Frank Wilson.
Yeah, he was making about
Gary G from. They hired a D2 national champion to come in and coach their team.
But that works. That's a logical progression move.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Those guys can coach too.
Yeah.
Frank was the enforcer for Coach O, just so everybody knows, him and Hugh Freeze. But San Antonio.
Hugh Freeze lined up the entertainment, if you catch my drift.
Oh.
No, basically they were the translators for Coach O at Ole Miss, both of them.
Yeah.
So if you heard, Coach O would come in and say, hey, and then Frank would come in and tell you what he said. And then Hugh Freeze would come in and tell you what he said. And it would be slightly different than what Frank said. And then you would ask a question and you would get in trouble because you couldn't understand Coach O to start with. That was the Coach O experience at Ole Miss in a nutshell.
Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you talk about another institution that ignored systemic race within its university, Liberty. They're a good fit for Hugh Freeze.
Yes, no Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
He can make phone calls all he wants to. Nobody can see him.
Yep.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm. He's where he needs to be, honestly.
And I just want to say real quick, John, that is going to be key because Alabama has lived in New Orleans and, pulling players out of there recruiting. So, I mean,
Jim Harbaugh literally lived in New Orleans outside of a recruit's house in a tree house, in a tree fort.
Yeah. Yeah.
New Orleans is a good place football, but we got Mike Wallace and Ben Jarvis Green Ellis immediately through Frank Wilson and his connections. We called him the Godfather of New Orleans for a reason.
No, when Coach O when you couldn't understand Coach O when he was at LSU, he was talking about burying the J-Boy in the bayou.
Good grief.
We're going to bury him in the bayou.
Go Hoggers.
Coach O trying to explain to somebody, I overheard the conversation, but why T-Bob is called T-Bob. And you can't understand really what he was saying, but it was a conversation. And at the end of it is like, oh, it's like Junior? Yes, it's like Junior.
It's the third. Right?
The third?
Isn't T stand for like the third?
I don't know. No, I don't know if it stands for
Like-
anything.
Like your
John, help
your
us out
Bobby
here.
Hebert the third.
Yeah.
Come on, John. Isn't that what that is? I thought that because it like Trey
Or two.
third
It could be two.
Like
could be
Junior.
two, but for some reason I think it's the third. John, help me out here. We don't care about your opinion
We don't
about T Bob.
opinion. Yeah. Yeah.
Why
what
is he named T Bob?
Like if somebody gets called T-Boy, because I've heard T-Boy, that's something that was said all the time in the coach's office. T-Boy,
That's all
Tiny.
I care about.
tiny.
Tiny.
Yep. So it's
Tiny?
like okay. There we go,
Tiny
Joe.
Bob.
I was called
So-
in Mississippi Little Steve because my dad was Steve, so I was Little Steve. So it kind of, I guess
So
that's the same thing.
is it Junior?
It makes the way he makes it sound. You don't have to be named after your dad to be a T. You could just be anybody and have a T designation.
Like
Kinda.
Little.
Yeah.
All that.
Hey, it's T. Jake Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I'd be T Steve. So that would be
Steve.
weird.
Yeah.
T. Steve, is that your rap name?
Cajun
It's kinda
version of
Cajun.
Junior. Okay.
All right, there you go.
T. Steve in the house.
There you go. T.
And
Steve.
I am a second. I'm not a junior because
There you go.
Junior pisses me off. We have about 45 years of pissing me off with Junior because you just
So like you're like Todd Gurley on your jersey. You put Willis the second.
no. I don't. I would if I had a jersey. Honestly, I would just say Willis. I don't like people that have their name and senior. By the way, I don't
Yeah.
care that you have the same name as your kid and it's on a jersey because that doesn't affect me at all. Yeah,
That's true.
that drives me
just want-
crazy.
They just want you to know. They just want you to know. So, okay. Well, Jake, let's talk about that tweet I sent you last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
How embarrassing is that?
Did you see it, Steve?
No, what happened?
On Wheel of Fortune, I guess it was not before now.
I had every
Yeah.
letter except C and P.
Yeah. And finally finally the guy was like P, and then he knew what it was. But I was like, my gosh, they said hat, lap.
No. It took like
Yeah.
3 people to get back to him before he
get back
figured it
to
out.
him. Yeah.
And
Because
they
They
kept
said
hitting,
lap and map and gap and
Yes.
they said everything
Hat.
except cap.
Yeah.
and they kept hitting bankrupt. So whoever
Yeah.
won the puzzle that time won like $600.
Yeah.
That's the best part about this. Nobody's talking about that, but everybody kept hitting bankrupt to where it just didn't matter to begin with.
That's hilarious, man. I saw that. I was like, feather in your map?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
And-
hat
and-
at first
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you don't put a feather in your cap; you put it in your hat.
But as soon as I was like, really? Like that's an old saying.
Because Pat Sajak come out today and was trying to defuse the situation, saying, I don't like when guests get made fun of and all that. But somebody, I found this scrolling through the comments, and it's actually gold too. So this guy commented and said, Pat, I was a guest in 2019 and will never forget when you came up to interview me. I blew a massive fart and you completely no-sold it despite the other contestants wanting to pass out. I will never forget that. I'm like, my gosh, that's good.
Oh, man. I love that.
Yeah, I was like, I got to share that tonight. So
Story.
I watched Jeopardy, but I if I was a contestant on there, I'd be like negative 30,000 because I can't think that quick.
I love
It's-
Jeopardy.
It's-
Like, there's only been one Hollywood movie to really kind of like glamorize it, And ironically, that movie was White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah.
And it was Rosie Perez on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Mount Vesuvius.
It's Mount Vesuvius.
Yeah.
Had that like Brooklyn Puerto Rican accent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That movie's incredible.
It is.
That's incredible. So, yeah. There you
I was
go.
watching reruns of Live PD yesterday, and one of the guys getting arrested cut a big fart when he was being cuffed. Oh man, that's.
I wonder what you. So as a cop, I wonder what you would do if he couldn't just not bust out laughing.
I know. Yeah. I mean, what is it about men and farts that just have us belly rolling? I mean,
I'm just kind of like numb to it.
wet and wet sounding. Yeah.
Like,
2 have been 9 innings. They've
That
run ruled
is insane.
everybody.
they have.
As Cody said earlier, y'all had 2 grand slams tonight.
Yeah. Kevin Graham and Tim Oko both have 4 home runs. I think they have a shot at chasing the record.
So
So now you have another year of getting better and working on your craft.
Right.
that is true.
So pretty much an hour of off the rails and 2 seconds of SEC baseball. There we go. That's how the show works.
Well, we didn't go off the rails. We talked about like SWAC and we talked about legitimate topics. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest. We can talk basketball, we can talk baseball, and we do from time to time. We definitely drop nuggets about it, but SEC football is what's going to pay the bills.
Exactly.
I mean, we don't have any bills yet, but you know what I mean. But we would like to have bills. John, if you want to donate to the cause, donate your private jet to us. I know you got one.
Yeah.
Oh, is he a
And-
Russian
and-
oligarch?
Might be.
Yes.
I guess the Russian boss are too
He's-
busy
he-
trying
he's
to
the
get
team-
Ukraine.
He's the Tinder swindler.
The Russian bots are in Ukraine just like, hey, welcome us.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome us or somethings. Hey, they're like, hey, boss, we got to stop fighting so we can go watch SEC After Dark.
2 private jets. I'll let you borrow. Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, gas it up for us, please.
Yeah.
So, have y'all been following this Kyler Murray stuff?
No, not even a little bit like him.
The only thing I saw was he has took everything on his profiles on Instagram and everything about the Cardinals and is non-existent no more. I mean, is there some kind of rift between them?
There is. He doesn't like it there.
Well, I mean,
His career in the NFL is tied to Cliff Kingsbury.
right, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
And he
He
doesn't
can-
want it to be.
Yeah, but, I'll wish in one hand, shit in the other, and tell me which one fills up faster,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he is tied to Cliff Kingsbury. He needs to figure out how to get it done. I think Kyler Murray is just upset because he was absolute shit in the playoffs.
He was.
He quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
quit.
this is a guy that transferred from A&M because things got hard.
Yep.
Went to Oklahoma, used their air raid to work, which is a system similar to what Cliff Kingsbury runs. And then Kingsbury used to use that Johnny Manziel stuff on Kyler Murray. That is the system. Johnny Manziel would have worked in the NFL under Cliff Kingsbury, but it's like taking Lamar Jackson out of Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's a horrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's throwing it. He's taking his ball and going home. This is not a good situation for him.
So it's a self-sabotage of his career because without Cliff Kingsbury, he does not have an NFL job.
He's just trying to make it easier to step away and go to baseball. I think is what's happening.
He's mini-me.
He wants to go play baseball, but he doesn't want to quit. But it's a weird way of showing that, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know.
And then there was a report that came out today that the Commanders reached out to Kansas City about the availability of Patrick Mahomes. So
Like there's some calls like you just don't make.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, I'm team shoot your shot.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I think that once a week, every team in the NFL should be calling Kansas City. It's like, hey, what about Patrick Mahomes? Make them say no. They might mess up and say yes, and all of a sudden they're like, what is going on?
wait a second, did we just agree to a trade?
yeah.
I mean, that'd be like me going, "Hey, Beyonce, are you single?
Yeah.
You want to go on a date?"
Hey,
The worst thing that can happen is you have the same situation before you ask the question.
yeah.
Which is no response whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
They probably like saw the message and they were like, "Is this a joke?"
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
I think it's funny that the quarterback of the Commander, and was it Taylor Heineke, was the backup quarterback in the XFL to Jordan Ta'amu.
Yeah.
So why don't they just bring Jordan Ta'amu in?
Right.
Because he's a bandit now.
Mm-hmm.
Bandit ball.
Random ball. Hey, NordVPN guys, do you like peace of mind? Nothing.
Usually.
Well, that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you're online. And with all those threats that you face today on the internet, it's more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all your computers, devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either, and plans start at just under $4 per month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/Bleav or just use the promo code Bleav. That's BLEAV to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus one additional month for free. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Do it. And then, Steve, Athletic Greens. You might want to hear about this one. Jake, you too. All right.
I'm listening.
People take multivitamins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Jake eats his Hulk Hogan gummies, right? So it's important to choose one that is top quality. Sorry, Jake, you got to upgrade. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right.
What is adaptogens?
Yeah.
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
It's a special blend. It supports gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and aging. I got a healthy gut.
I hope I have a healthy gut. That sounds horrible if I don't.
Yes, exactly. It's also lifestyle friendly. It fits a wide range of diets. So the bunny boy diet of eating just lettuce and carrots, it supports that diet. There's only 1 gram of sugar and no chemicals or artificial anything. So reclaim your health, arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Bleav. That's BLEAV again. That's athleticgreens.com/Bleav. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Micro machines.
Athletic Greens, take ownership of your health.
So I've got to upgrade. I've got to upgrade from my Flintstone vitamins. Okay.
Yeah.
No, there we go.
It's just a scoop in your water. So you can get some Spark from me and some Athletic Greens and just mix and match.
There you go.
And you're going to turn into Superman.
What if you're already Superman?
Ooh.
Then you'll turn into Hulk.
No, I don't want to turn into Hulk.
Turn into.
Although Hulk would be Athletic Green.
Yeah, he would be.
Okay, that's the mascot.
He's the only Avenger that can turn green.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You got to use the Athletic Greens for all the little Hulkamaniacs, brother.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go. Athletic Greens. I'm gonna try some. And then Steve, you can get some Spark to mix with it. There you go. What flavor you like? You seem like a green.
Yeah,
I was gonna say you seem like a green apple type dude.
No. My color in Gatorade is lemon lime, and
Love
then it goes to fruit punch.
And nothing wrong with that.
I can dig that. I can dig it. Can you dig it?
Sucker.
So, yeah, we'll get you hooked up on that, Steve.
Yeah,
Live your life right.
Tell them to send it this way. I'm on vitamin D already. I'm on vitamin C. I'm on B12.
That's right. So that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Actually,
B12.
we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it at B12. Is that
it's
the
like
question?
A bingo
Is
card.
B12. B12. B12.
I almost want to play bingo down here because I can imagine that bingo down here would be like life or death serious.
Oh, I bet.
I want to see. I just want to see that once. I just want to go to a bingo down in Central Florida.
See, I have an aunt that she's like the sweetest Southern lady of all time. Mm-hmm. She's like Southern, like, hey darling, I'm gonna get you some mashed potatoes and some
Brian Kelly
pudding.
at a basketball game. I got you.
Yeah. So, yes.
Yeah.
But you played dominoes with her, and she is cutthroat, dude.
Yeah.
She's like trash talking, like she is cutthroat, man. It's hilarious, and just her trash talking and that sweet Southern voice is hilarious.
So before we get out of here, what are you doing on the Bleav podcast?
What am I doing?
Bleav in Georgia Dawgs. What's the storylines this week?
Well, we're talking the Stacey Searles hire. We're going to talk a little ending of a Tom Crean era, a little bit. Talking some recruiting, some baseball, just some general talk with the program, catching up on some things with everything. Maybe starting to get an early spring practice look at position groups and things like that. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at what Stacey Searles has in his bag for his offensive line group. We'll take a look at. We'll probably start diagnosing what our new coaches, our new hires, will have in store for them at their positions, at their relative positions.
And I am looking on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast month by month, looking at the fall, doing a way too early look at the season. Mm-hmm. And the questions we are looking at in position groups and the holes and needs of this team. Also, we talking about what to make of this Kermit Davis season, and we use our perspectives to honestly find different answers. There's not a consensus at this point. I think he's safe, but it's tricky.
It's very tricky. Mm-hmm. Very tricky. So what are you guys talking about on Todd Talk? Todd Grantham?
Yeah.
Third Grantham.
Yeah.
Can he replace Pete Golding for when they play Georgia?
No.
Please?
No. I would take 100 Pete Goldens over Todd Grantham.
Please?
So.
Would you rather fight 100 Pete Golding? Never mind.
Yeah. But we're probably
I would like to fight 100 Pete Goldens because all I got to do is flash a cheerleader in front of him and he's distracted.
That was an assistant that come out, by the way. That was not Pete Golden.
I know it was a GA, but
supposedly
it was a GA. It's his doppelganger because everybody at Alabama looks the same.
The dude shaved because of that, because everybody thought it was Pete Golden, so he shaved.
Pete Golden's like, no, Pete Golden probably went to him and said,
"Yeah,
mother effer, you better
Nick
shave."
Saban said shave.
Yeah. Nick Saban told him and said, "You better shave and shave now." No.
And quit hooking up with co-eds on TV.
Right. So
until you shave.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll probably talk about a little bit, getting ready for March Madness, SEC baseball, softball, things like that. Stacey, we weren't able to record last night on a Best of the West. Stacey's been having a rough week at work, so I'll get with him. We'll try to get something out though.
Good deal, man. Good deal. Well, on Beast of the East, we're going to live our basketball lives vicariously through Vinny. So
there you go.
It's the benefit of having a Kentucky guy in the network.
That's right. And we can live vicariously football. They're kicking ass in football too. So
yeah. And
Liam Cohen.
And as I have mentioned a couple times, ending on Best of the West. If you know, we're still looking for like an Auburn guy. You know,
No, you're not.
I'm just saying for the network's sake. You know, we
Get
still
John.
we still got some guys. You know, do we have an LSU guy? I don't think we got an LSU guy on
No,
here
you
yet.
don't. You don't.
We did have an Arkansas. I think that was with me on the Best of the West, but he's gone. So I mean, there's still some guys and some podcasts that if you want to join the network, let Steven know. We'll be glad to have you.
Yeah. Perspectives are a thing. Doesn't matter
maybe the
what
one
your points
team-
of view are.
Maybe we can get a one team, one podcast guy on here.
We need a Vandy guy because I like to hear those podcasts.
We got a Vandy guy. He hosts Illegal Motion with me.
That's right.
I want to
Matt
watch a
Perkins.
documentary about Vandy in the 30s. That's my mission right now.
That sounds.
Ooh,
I want to
that'd be
know
fun.
what happened that took them from the 10s and 20s of being just absolutely dominant to what they are now. Because the 30s are the decade where all that happened.
Right.
Because their administration is stuck in the 10s and 20s.
Yeah. But hey, they were good and didn't make as much hay over being good for 2 decades than Sewanee did for 1 season.
Right.
For 13 days or something like that. They've milked that for 120 years.
They have.
Vandy just got to rehire James Franklin. That's their only saving grace.
James Franklin has jumped the shark.
Yeah, I know.
Ain't no way. They need. Honestly, I think Clark Lee is going to silently, he's going to win 4 games, and that's going to feel like they're won a national championship there. Like he's gonna slowly improve, which is what they need. If I'm being honest.
Who's the 4 games? Because that means you have 2 cupcakes, and then it means they'll win two in the East. Who are they going to be?
I don't think they win any SEC games. I didn't say they're
Okay.
going to win any SEC. I think they're going to win their non-conference slate.
Depending on who they are, I don't know who they got.
The problem with Vandy
USC, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Ohio State.
Yeah,
is for them to make a run, it requires them to beat Ole Miss. And that requires Ole Miss to be down to the point where they can do it. And right now they are not down.
All right, let's look at Vandy's football schedule.
Okay.
Let's look at their schedule. Bleav in Vandy. All right, Matt, we're doing your job. All right, they start off
Hey,
at
that's my
Hawaii.
mom. Hey, Mom. Thanks for joining.
They start off at Hawaii.
Oh, that's
W.
a loss.
The Timmy
You think?
Chang era. They hired Timmy. We talked about Timmy Chang last night, getting hired at Hawaii.
This is
then
their
they go.
preseason bowl game.
Yes. then they play Elon in their home opener.
Okay, that's the W for sure.
Yeah. That's
They play
2-0.
Wake.
Let's go Doors.
They play Wake.
Oh, that's a
Killed.
Yeah, that's a big L.
They're-
that's an L.
Let's get this. They're at Northern Illinois.
Ooh,
might
that
be in it.
that could be an L too.
Now that's all right. So they'll be 3-1. Then
You
they're
don't
at
have to, John. She has a mouth of a sailor.
then they're at Bama, so 4-1.
That's a big L.
Then they're home against Ole Miss, so 5-1. Okay, so
Yeah,
They're rolling, huh?
yeah.
at Georgia 6-1, at Missouri 6-2. No, I think their conference win is going to be Missouri.
That's about the only one they could win.
They're home against South Carolina. That's a possibility, but South Carolina
Yeah,
somehow always plays them like South Carolina always we're going to go to Vandy. We're just going to beat the hell out of them,
They've won like 10 or 11 straight games against Vandy.
and they kill them every time. They destroy them.
Except for last year where Vandy thought they were going to beat them.
Yeah.
Then they're at Kentucky, home against Florida, home against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Good.
So-
grief.
So
that's a 2-win
four
schedule.
wins.
Yeah,
4
it
wins. 1, 2, 3, and then I think they get one of Missouri or South Carolina.
I think that's
don't
a
know.
2-win schedule. And I think Vandy is going to assert themselves better than they have in the past. I like what Clark Lee is doing, but I just don't think they have the boys to do it.
I think Missouri. I think they've gone from bad to worse.
I don't know about Missouri. But I do think they have more dudes than Vandy.
We don't know about Vandy either, which makes this game a toss-up. Which I'm going chaos in that scenario. They're gonna get mushroom stamped against Kentucky, Florida, and Tennessee, and Georgia, and Ole Miss, and Bama.
Yeah,
probably Wake Forest.
The Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia triple is almost as bad as the end of the season. Good grief.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's they might quit football after that. Okay,
yeah,
I take that back. They're not going to beat Missouri. They're not going to have a team left.
Yeah, all three of those games, they will probably lose by 40.
It's not gonna. Yeah. It's not gonna be pretty.
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's not good.
Well, I mean, Georgia put up 62 on them this past year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they did.
And that was before a championship Stetson Bennett quarterback.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what he does now?
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's
seriously, Stetson Bennett has 6 months to get all his NIL lined up so he can just live out the rest of his days.
I was supposed to say
he's on the clock.
Yeah, Steven's the biggest Stetson Bennett fan here, even bigger in the core.
Probably so. Let's see, Missouri. They're home against Louisiana Tech. They're at Kansas State. They play Abilene Christian. I don't see a ton of New Mexico State. I don't see a ton of wins on Missouri's schedule. Maybe at Auburn.
New Mexico State plays tough, and they played Alabama tough that first half last year.
They ain't gonna.
Jake, no.
They're not gonna beat.
We're not gonna play that game.
Let's not do that. We're better than that.
Larry Rose is not coming through that door for New Mexico State.
On our picks this coming up year, I will probably pick New Mexico State depending on the spread.
Yeah, if it's like a 50-point spread, you're going to take the points. Yeah, of course.
Beat that.
They're going to get curb stomped by Kansas State, though.
Kansas State's legit.
Yep.
Then Abilene Christian's going to come in and just destroy them.
What do you have against? Okay, what do you have against Missouri?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
I just wanted to one up Jake. That's all.
New Mexico State.
I do think. I mean, Vandy is sandwiched between Florida and South Carolina.
Is Missouri's running back that's so good still there? What was his name?
No, he's gone.
Okay, so who's their offense now?
That's
what we have to find out.
I transferred.
Yeah.
No, I think his Gus Malzahn background and offense is going to come through, and he's going to have a quarterback similar to Nick Marshall. I think he ran it against Georgia when Bazelak didn't play. So they had backups playing quarterback, and the offense actually looked a little bit effective. So I think you're going to see that offense kind of morph that direction now that their big stars off the field.
Yeah. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. So, they had Tyler Macon at quarterback. That's who that guy was. Making bacon from East St. Louis.
Bacon.
So, honestly, in all seriousness, we just don't know. Oh, Drew Lock's brother, I think, is on the team.
I think Missouri will be fine, but fine for them means they're going to finish somewhere 6th or 5th in the SEC East because that division is turning into a little bit of a bear. It's not.
It's relatively speaking, it's a competitive division. It's not like the West. It's like the West in the fact that it's competitive, but it's not like the West where it's like every team's going to be in the top 10.
Mm.
Here's a question: does South Carolina win 7 games this year?
This year?
I think so. Let's look at their schedule.
I think they might. I think this might be the year they beat Clemson.
That's a good possibility. What has happened to Clemson? I mean, Dabo has done poorly.
Dabo is anti-portal, and this is biting it because everybody else is plugging holes, and he is not playing the portal game.
You said plugging holes.
We are off the rails. So.
Okay, so they got Georgia State. They're at Arkansas, home against Georgia. So they get Georgia early, which is not in their favor. But they do play
Georgia
in
usually
Columbia.
has like 2 or 3 players still suspended at that point.
Yeah, Mark Rick's not here. They're just running stadiums now.
Right.
They play Charlotte, South Carolina State. They're at Kentucky. They play Texas A&M, Missouri. They're at Vandy, at Florida, home against Tennessee for Military Appreciation Day, and Clemson. So let's see where these 7 wins. 1,
Charlotte
2,
for sure.
3, 4 Missouri, 5 Vandy, which means to get their 6th and 7th win, they're going to have to beat either Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, A&M, Florida, or Tennessee, or Clemson. A combination of those.
I think Clemson is their 6th win.
And I think I'm calling Florida. They're going to beat Florida.
Yeah, what was the score last year between the South Carolina and Florida game? I can't remember. I know Florida won, but
no, they didn't.
No, they didn't. So
South Carolina beat the.
That's right. So
yeah,
so
they
that
might be the game. Maybe we're over looking at what Florida and Billy Napier can do in year 1. That is true. That's a possibility.
I mean, we're gonna know, but I looking at it right now, just I don't know. Like they took some hits in recruiting. Like they're gonna be hurting a little bit with the Dan Mullen lack of recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna take Billy Napier a couple cycles to fix that.
They got Trevor Etienne.
They did get Trevor Etienne.
Yeah, they did.
That's not gonna be enough. Come on.
Travis Etienne is probably the reason Clemson won the national championship. So if he's anywhere near as good as his brother.
Well, you also have to have a once-in-a-generation quarterback to go with him to help that
I like that quarterback that transferred from Ohio State. Jack something.
To Florida?
Yeah. Transferred in.
Let's see.
Are you saying that Trevor Lawrence was a once-in-a-generational quarterback?
Who?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
Yeah.
I think him and Travis Etienne.
Jack Anders.
And that's not his last name. It's like Walker or something.
Herschel
Walker.
Carlos Del Rio. Kyle Engel. Emory Jones. Jalen Kitna. Jack Miller.
There he is.
Yeah, from Chaparral. He's an Arizona kid, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he's going to be a good player for Florida. I think he's going to develop into something pretty good. But Levi, so and so, I don't know his last name. Is the reason Louisiana Lafayette was as good as they were.
Corey, my mom's wanting to know if you're going to the G-Day game this year.
I am not.
He's not, Mom.
I will not be.
No.
It's tempting, but I will not be. What I don't like is Rob Sale as their offensive coordinator. That's what I don't like. But they've got pretty good staff otherwise. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for us. Yeah. I'm yawning now, so.
Yeah, it's time for bed.
Yeah,
it's time for eyes closed after dark.
Eyes closed after dark.
So
it's time for Z's after dark.
That's right. Not Z's, but just Z's.
Z's.
Bingo. All right, so check us out on our other shows that we talked about earlier. If you're not sure, if you're just now joining us, hit rewind. when we go and when we finally go into replay mode, you just rewind a little bit. So
I love how we say we're gonna sign off at this time, and about 40 minutes later we finally.
That never happens. That's our false sign off. Yeah. It's like an encore.
Exactly.
It's like when a band comes out for an encore.
And also, hey, subscribe to the Lockdown Ole Miss YouTube page. Once we hit 1,000, we're going to do a post-game live before football season. Post-game live.
That's cool.
Subscribe to Bleav In Georgia Dawgs YouTube page as well while you're at it. Once we hit 1,000, well, I don't know. We're far away from 1,000, so I don't know what we're going to do if we hit 1,000. But let's get there. So Ole Miss fans, help me out. You need an East team to get behind, and Kirby and Lane are best friends. Sort of. Maybe they're in a group chat together.
Yeah, that
where
group
they make
chat
fun
is
of each
apparently pretty epic.
Yeah.
And South Carolina fans, we need y'all to like and subscribe to Tide Talk, because I am the only one of the group here that said that y'all would win 7 games this past year. So
no, you're not. I said it too.
Oh no, I was the first one to say it. Thank you.
I did
the first.
Yeah,
I was surprised whenever they went to a bowl game and just completely blew out their opponent.
I was definitely shocked at that one.
Mm-hmm.
So don't hold that against me.
Don't
hold that against me, South Carolina.
Of course, Mac Brown's like 87 years old. His father timed himself.
And he's wearing Jordans. That's the greatest.
Yeah.
All right. Good night. See you guys.
Take care.
Mac Brown wearing Jordans?
Father Time's undefeated.
They are.
Always is.